Jordyn Huitema is a professional soccer forward from Chilliwack, BC. At 19 years old, she has already had major international success in the past few years for Canada at the under-17 and under-20 levels, including CONCACAF Golden Boot Awards as top scorer at both the 2018 Under-20 Championship and the 2019 Olympic qualifying tournament. With 37-year-old Christine Sinclair having already smashed most of the game's records, it is Huitema who is being counted upon to deliver the offensive punch for the Canadian senior women's national team heading into the future. In 2017, at just 15, Huitema became the third youngest player to debut for the senior team all-time, behind Cara Lang and Jessie Fleming. So far, she has delivered 13 goals in her first 33 appearances with the Canadian senior side, including the game-winning strike in qualifying against Costa Rica to secure Canada's berth for the upcoming Summer Olympics. In early 2019, she decided to forego college and turn pro, and shortly thereafter, she signed a 4-year deal with Paris Saint-Germain in France.
And Jordyn joins me now. Jordyn, I know you're back with the team in Paris now, but you had a chance to spend some time back home in Chilliwack with your family, kind of at the beginning of all this quarantine stuff. How was that?
That was great. I think I was telling a story to someone that I haven't been with my family for that long of a time period in like years. Like I think the last time was probably when I was 14 that I've spent more than a month or two with them. So it was a love-hate. Like, of course, by the end of it, I was getting a little bit high on nerves. Just everyone's in the same place so close that it's, you know, you're at each other's throats a little bit. But it was really, really fun and really enjoyed it.
Well, I've heard you talk about the fact that you played for fun for so long, kind of just the enjoyment of the game actually helping propel your game. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every kid is different and you just need to know your own kid. But for me personally, yeah, it was more of just an enjoyment sport growing up, a way to get active, just meet new people, have some friends. And I really, really did love it. So it was just for me, just a place that I could go and just forget about everything else that was going on in my life and just really embrace the field. So I think that was until it hit about like 13 or 14 is when it got really competitive for me. But before then, yeah, I just really went out because I enjoyed it and never was pressured to show up by my parents or anything like that. But yeah, I think I've said it before that it's just you need to know the type of kid that you're raising. And I know that some kids love pushing themselves from the age of 6. For me personally, I don't think I would have enjoyed that. I think I went more towards soccer because it was just a natural enjoyment that I had for it. But yeah, like I said, every person's different. So you just got to find what works for you.
And it worked for you, clearly. I know a big sort of eye-opener moment for you was the 2012 Olympics and watching that team, of course, led by Christine Sinclair, who's your role model. So how important is it for you and for girls out there to have that to see what you can be?
I think it's super important. I think that's why females around the world right now are pushing for more, pushing to be televised more, pushing for equal pay and things like that. I think there's a big movement going on and it has been going on for a few years now. But I think that just hammers the importance of getting women's football televised. I know growing up for me, that was a turning point in my career. And I was so young and I don't know if it would have happened if I didn't witness it on TV. So I think the more and more we get the game out on people's screens, the more that females and young females are going to start moving towards soccer and football more. So I think that really is super important to develop our side of the game.
Being called the next Christine Sinclair, which you have been for years already, how does that sit with you at this point?
I'd say at first it was really cool. I was like kind of shocked that our names were even being said in the same sentence. Growing up, I didn't even know if I was going to have the honor of playing alongside her. So to have that and then to have our names in paragraphs together comparing us, I was absolutely shocked. Yeah, obviously now it's more so that I want to be known more as myself. I feel like she would agree that we're similar in ways, but we're also completely different players. Like, just our style of play is so different. So yeah, I mean, I've said it before, like, I'd like to be known as Jordyn Huitema and not the next Sinclair, but of course having that comparison is really, really cool.
Well, one of the ways you're carving your own path is being the first Canadian woman to sign a professional contract right out of high school, right? And I know that you actually, like, aside from that being the right choice just for you, you actually see that as being able to model for other young women coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, of course. I think it was big to hammer home that there's more than one option. And I'm not saying that one option is better than another. It's similar to how you raise your kid in a competitive environment or not from a young age. I think it's similar to what kind of path are you ready for at that moment, or what do you need in your development at that time. For me personally, I didn't think school was the best option for me. And it was also because academically, I didn't know where I wanted to go with it. So I wasn't like super set on becoming some sort of profession. All I wanted to do was play soccer. So I just kind of hammered that in, and I said, I want to go professional right off the bat.
I had a conversation with Rian Wilkinson about you, and she said that one of the most remarkable things is that you're still so young, and you've been on the world stage for so long. You've handled incredible pressure, but you're still, well, she calls you a kid. I mean, I'm sure you don't think of yourself as a kid, but to Rian and to me, you're a kid. You don't look like that when you're playing soccer or football.
Yeah.
But you are. Do you feel like, did you skip any of your childhood, or were you able to preserve that for yourself?
I feel like the idea of childhood is kind of wrapped up in fun things, like, I don't know, going on trips with your friends or things like that. And of course I got those. I think I just got them in a different way. I, of course, enjoyed every second of my childhood. I think growing up, it was more towards soccer and like soccer trips or team parties, or just like teammates, being super close with them and having those kind of bonds. And of course, I mean, every soccer player will say it, that you do sacrifice a lot growing up, like missing a few birthday parties or not being able to go to a sleepover because you have a game the next day or things like that. But I knew from a young age that I was willing to give up those little things for a bigger picture goal that I had. And I mean, it's a hard concept for like a young kid to like grasp onto, but I think I got a hold of it at a really young age. But I think there's also moments for balance, and I think that's a big part of a childhood as well. And I think that would be my biggest fear with a kid doing too much competitive sport too young, is like that balance is missing. And I think there's a lot of off the field enjoyment you need to find, and that could come through soccer or come through like teammates or things like that, but you just need to find joy away from the field as well.
Also, most regular kids don't have the kind of pressure imposed that you have had for the last, 4 or 5 years. Another thing Rian said about you is you are so composed under pressure. A, do you feel that way? And B, how did you get that way?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think there's been a lot of pressure on me, like
What?
external pressure. Like I'm very hard on myself, like, to begin with. Like, I want the best out of myself all the time. Like, it started way back in school. Like, academically, I wanted to have straight A's, and on the field, I wanted to be the best. On the basketball court, I wanted to be the best. Like, I just wanted to be the best, and that was all internal. So then the external pressures, I don't know, it just didn't match what I internally did for myself. Like, there would be pressure, but it wouldn't be so hard that it'd overdo what I'm putting on myself already, if that makes sense. I always love playing in front of a full stadium. It like riles me up. I just absolutely love it. Like, fans, I love fans, and I play off them so much. And of course, at the beginning warm up, you applaud them, get them hyped a little bit up, and yeah, I love it. I don't feel pressure to perform at all.
The soccer pitch is your home, and I think it's clear, right?
Yeah.
You are famously in a relationship with Canadian superstar Alphonso Davies, and you guys have known each other for a long time, and you've had similar trajectories. I'm wondering how nice it is to have somebody whose star is rising at the same pace as your own, to just kind of help navigate the whole thing.
Yeah. I think it also, I feel like we support each other a lot away from the field. Like, of course, there's moments that you'll need to depend on each other for like understanding what they're going through on field. But I feel like we're just support systems for off field. Like, we're very there for each other in other moments than just football. And it's nice to have someone in Europe with me that I can give a call, one call, and they're here. Like, it's so that's always really nice. But everyone always asks, like, oh, you guys are both crazy good football players. Like, I'm sure all you talk about is soccer. And I'm like, no, like, we rarely talk about soccer. It's actually like more just regular life stuff. And that's kind of what we portray on, like, we have a YouTube channel and like we're very real and on that. So yeah, I think that's kind of, and it's really nice, yeah, to have a support system out here, especially when my family is so far.
So Jordyn, my last question for you is the one we leave all of our guests with, and that is, what is your best advice for a young Jordyn Huitema?
I'd say like knowing what I know now and like knowing the future that I would have, it would just be like, don't give up and don't doubt yourself. Just know what you can do and just go out and do it. It's those 6 a.m. workouts that you don't want to wake up for, but you need to go do. And it's just, they'll pay off. And just knowing that they'll pay off and that they'll get you somewhere. Yeah, they're not going to lead you to a dead end where people can sometimes think they'll lead you. I feel like those are the big moments that you actually build character and build yourself into the athlete you're going to become. So yeah, I just say stick on the route that you're going and never waver. Don't doubt yourself. Don't let other people's comments get in your head.
That's great advice for anybody. Jordyn, your future is so bright. I can't wait until the next Olympics, which will be the biggest stage for you yet, but it's all unbelievable. Thank you so much for this.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.